record this. Great work. So hello everybody and welcome to CiviPlus 101. Give your membership organization a digital power up. So we're going to talk to you today, an introduction to CiviPlus, and I know we've got a mixture of existing Civi users and maybe people who've not come across Civi before or CiviPlus, or even maybe not used a CRM before. So we're going to get through this in a very universal language, as I mentioned before, for the new people joining. Yeah, so let's maybe start sharing the screen. And then we'll introduce ourselves and get going. Okay, hello. So I'm going to start off, just before I start off the introductions, obviously, if there are any questions at all, please put them in the chat. And we're going to send a couple of polls out during this introductory session. We'd love you to fill in just so we can get a bit of a flavor for who's with us today. So I will kick off the introductions. My name is Louise and I am the Chief Growth Officer here. And basically, my role is to work with all of our potential clients and some of our existing clients and to really understand their needs and to see if we can package the right thing together for them and make sure they get the absolute most out of their digital tools. So I'm going to pass over now to Jack to introduce himself.
Thank you very much. Yeah, hi everyone, lovely to meet you all. I know a few faces in here, so Alex from IVU, good to see you again. I'm the account manager at CompuCo and I'm responsible for helping all of our membership organisations and not-for-profits and fundraising organisations from the first point of contact from like an inquiry, just about CRMs and Civi in general, and then supporting and helping them all the way through their project to project end as well. And then I'll pass over to Hamish, who may be on mute.
Sorry, took a second there to get off mute. Yeah, hi, I'm Hamish. So I'm a project manager here at CompuCo. I work much more on the client side. So rather than being part of the growth team, I'm in the sort of client services side, and particularly I work with CiviPlus, bringing clients on, onboarding them and helping them get up and running as fast and as smoothly as possible. So I'll be doing a little bit of a demo later on some of the different areas of Civi.
And I'm Alex. I'm the marketing manager here at CompuCo, working with CiviPlus. And yeah, I do a lot of the organization things like this, probably taking a bit more of a back seat today. I'll be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, I'll be looking there and just put them in and I'll try to answer them or direct them to our team right at the end.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, everyone. And we'd love to know a little bit more about our new joiners. Anyone who came in, we'd love to hear in the chat where you're from in the world and what organization. And then please do answer the poll when that gets sent so we can learn a little bit more about your CRM needs.
Should we send it out now?
Let's send it now. Let's send it now. So we're going to start off with, oh, there it is. Okay, great. So we're going to start off with, here's our agenda, and we're going to take you through quite a simple overview of the system, but we're going to kick off with powering up with a CRM. So basically, we thought we would start just sort of identifying some common problem areas about why a CRM is important. So to start us off, lots of organizations we found have really got data in lots of different places, and it's not always easy to find because they're using lots of different ways to record their data. And of course, that leads to inaccurate data, especially when you've got multiple people in the same organization, all working on the same thing, but storing their data in different places. And then, you know, there are organizations that might be using a CRM or some kind of database system, but sometimes there are also lots of other tools that they're using as well for sending out mailings, for managing events, for managing applications. And some organizations might have too few tools and some might have too many. And really what we want to do is try and streamline that whole thing. Oh, there's the next poll come out. I get it too.
It's ended, and yeah, I don't know if you want to share the results or want to wait on them.
Let's wait till we get to the end of this section. Thank you. Sure. Sorry, it popped up and distracted me. Another common issue is about manual tasks. Lots of membership organizations are using very manual tasks in terms of registrations and renewals and taking payments. That's point 5. Online payments are a huge challenge. You know, if you don't have an online payment system, again, these very manual, very laborious tasks, and also leaves a lot more room for error and mistakes. And then, of course, no backup and limited security. You know, these are things that are also, if your data is in multiple places, you're just really opening yourself up to potential issues. So we really want to try and put all of this together and mitigate this. So why CRMs are important and the real benefits that generally CRMs can offer. So first of all, of course, having centralized data is a surefire way to really make sure your data is clean, your data is managed well, and it means that you can collaborate with your colleagues happily and comfortably, knowing that there won't be overlap or mistakes made. So these are really key area of having all of your data in one place. Of course, having all the tools that you need in one place makes things much easier in terms of matching types of mailings, matching types of groups, and have everything under one roof with one cost also is a much clearer way and easier way to organize your finances. Online payments and direct debit. Now, as we mentioned before, having an online payment functionality is really beneficial for an organization, especially a membership organization where you want to do, you know, multiple payments annually. And of course, having the option of a direct debit is even better, because then those payments will come through automatically and you don't even need to worry about managing them. And then, of course, managing tasks with automation. As we said, manual tasks really take up time. And if we can automate some of these tasks, it means it frees up time for you and your colleagues to do more, to engage more, to recruit more members, whatever it may be in your organization. Automation will make these things easier. And again, help mitigate mistakes and, like, you know, things being overlooked and stuff like that. And of course, you've got this extra ability to record all points of contact with a member or with anyone connected to your organization. If everything is recorded in one place on one CRM system, then there's going to be no confusion about what they've received or who's spoken to them or what's been sent out. So these are like the key areas that we want to sort of highlight today as we go on. So we do the results of the poll now.
Sure. So hopefully pop-ups appeared. Some interesting results here.
Okay, well, fantastic to see there's a mixture of feelings about the CRMs, but it's also interesting to see a very high proportion of Civi users here, which is fantastic. So, all right, I know who I'm talking to now. Brilliant. Okay. So let's get into CiviPlus. Sorry, let me just delete these polls. Let's get into CiviPlus. Okay, starting at the beginning. Well, Civi CRM. Okay, it seems like pretty much everyone here knows about Civi CRM, which is great. So as you know, it is the #1 open source CRM for the not-for-profit sector. It was designed and built for charities and non-profit organizations. It's been around 17 years now. Can you believe it? And that means it's been developed and invested in by a whole community full of companies like ours and many others around the world, and charities that have invested in developing it. Over 11,000 organizations are using it, and obviously quite a few are here today. It's downloaded around 700 times a month. I don't know if you knew that or not, and it's been translated into 40 languages. So it is an amazing system. However, as an open source platform, many organizations may look to go it alone. And as maybe some of you have experienced, there are lots and lots of features, and it's hard to bring them all together and make sure they're all working perfectly with each other. And sometimes it can be quite complex in terms of hosting and security, and that can also be costly as well. So we at CompuCo decided to do something about it and make it simple, affordable, and a SaaS platform. So we have now launched what we like to think is the most accessible version of Civi CRM yet. CiviPlus. So we will host it for you on a secure cloud infrastructure. And basically CiviPlus is combining all the innovations and all the developments from around the Civi world with our very own CompuCo know-how to give you the best Civi CRM experience possible. So what we have here is a powerful, easy to use, out of the box, all-in-one membership platform. So let's go through and tell you a little bit more about what CiviPlus can actually do. It does an awful lot, basically. The idea is that this can service a membership organization, fundraising organization, grant giving, trade union, whatever nonprofit world that you are in. CiviPlus is designed to work with you and to grow with you and have all the functionality you need. So you can see here a great overview. We're going to basically go into some of these in a little bit more detail through a demonstration in just a bit, but I'm just going to take you through the headlines. Of course, you can manage your contacts and your relationship management, which I'm sure a lot of you have already experienced is a real plus in the Civi world, that you can create the relationships that you need and you can have everybody linked in one place. Of course, taking payments online is key. We use Stripe as our payment processor and Go Cardless for direct debits. Tracking fundraising opportunities is really simple and easy to manage within CiviPlus. Managing your memberships, managing multiple kinds of memberships as well. We'll definitely be digging into that a bit more later. Running any kind of event, CPD training, conferences can all be managed in one place through the events module. You don't need to go to an external event management system. Again, all the data in one place. And the same thing with sending mass email and SMS. We have a beautiful inbuilt mailer in CiviPlus, which we're very excited to show you in a little bit. It has a very strong case management system, which you can actually use in so many different ways to manage a pipeline of opportunities or caseload. There's a task dashboard, so you can assign tasks to yourself, which I do all the time, and also assign tasks to other colleagues that will show up in their task dashboard to make sure nothing gets missed. We have amazing reporting analytics capability within the system and a really great functionality of surveys and petitions. So you can create a form, send it out to your members and get some feedback and then analyze all the results all within the system. It's got a great volunteer management piece, which may or may not be relevant to some of you. And again, applications and grant management is all included in CiviPlus. But if you don't need to use it at this stage, that's fine. You can just switch it off. But if ever something changes within your organization and you do want to suddenly access these features, you can just switch them back on. They're all already included in the price. And finance management, of course, very important no matter what organization you are. And the extra special bit for CiviPlus is our self-service members portal. And we'll be showing you a little bit more about that later, which can really help give your members a real personalized experience. So let's start off with contact management. So we've got lots of points here which are about, how versatile the contact management is. So for a lot of you who are already using Civi, you may already know all of this, but please let me just reshare these points with you. So of course, we've got a 360-degree contact view, which means every area in the system that your contact is interacting with will all be recorded in one place on their contact record. And we'll be showing you that more detail in the demo. You'll have the ability to choose your contact type, which is really important, especially for membership organizations, where maybe your members are individuals, or maybe your members are actually organizations themselves, and then they have members that are attached to them. And you can really organize this very clearly within CiviPlus. You can manage and create multiple relationships, which is really important because there are often so many different ways that an individual can have a relationship within your system. They might have a husband or wife. They might be employed by somebody. They might be on a volunteer committee. They might be helping, on a helpline committee. There's so many different types of relationships. And what's really great is that you can actually create the custom relationships that are needed for your organization. All the activities are logged, which is really important in terms of knowing every interaction that someone in your organization has had with that individual, and also checking who's done what. We've got different permissions for different users, which is, again, if you need to have areas of confidentiality, really important. GDPR ready, talking of confidentiality, of course. And as I mentioned, creating custom fields, which is a really unique aspect, that you can create your custom fields yourself. You don't need someone else to do it for you. It can really design a bespoke system for your organization. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Jack now, who's going to take you on a tour of contact management.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Louise. And guys, I am a little bit poorly today, so bear with me. I have a little bit of a sore throat, so apologies in advance for that. So within CiviPlus, you have our standard Shoreditch theming, which gives you this kind of user interface, which is really easy navigatable. And for the purpose of this demo, I will show you my trusty contact record, which is Tony Stark. So I'm a bit of a Marvel nerd. So we'll start here. So this is a summary page, and here you can see a lot of different information about your particular member that you're engaging with. So you can see things like employer, different tags, maybe you have if they're a volunteer or donor perhaps as well. And you can actually have numerous contact types within CiviCRM as well. So you can see here, this is an individual, but you can also store organizational or household records, maybe if you're a membership organization that has organizations as members as well. So you can store numerous email addresses, and you can set which are the primary ones or which ones are for bulk emailing. Same thing for phone numbers as well. You can add numerous phone numbers, maybe landline and personal mobiles. You can store websites of organizations, or maybe the LinkedIn profile of an individual. Similar with address as well. You can do work and personal. You can actually look at information such as gender or date of birth on the members that you're engaging with. And touching on what Louise said earlier about communication preferences and GDPR preferences, you have a really easy navigatable drop down here, where if someone communicates with you that they don't like to be communicated with in a particular way, you can actually update the system, or maybe you can actually drop them out of one of your bulk mailing lists as well. Jumping down to the bottom to just show you a few examples of custom fields that Louise mentioned a moment ago. You actually have here interest and seating preferences. These are just ones that we added for this, but you can add these if you do store kind of weird and wonderful information on your members. You can really customize these for drop downs or free text fields and stuff like that as well. Just jumping up a little bit, you can see here that Tony Stark is their employer is the Avengers, and that's just an example of a relationship. So if I go along the left here, this is all the different tabs of pieces of information that are stored on the members that you're engaging with. And you can actually go here and see numerous different relationships that you've created. You can actually add a relationship by clicking here, and you can get really custom with these as well. They all have a start and end date. And if you added an end date of someone that was maybe leaving employment or leaving a particular committee by a certain date, the system would recognize that and it would move those into inactive here for you, so you don't have to do it. This just enables you to build up a real rich history of all the members that you're engaging with as well. Then we will look at the activities tab. So this just shows you all of what I like to call the inbound and outbound activities. So a few examples here, you have a meeting and a phone call. These would be outbound activities from your organization to the member, but you can also capture incoming, so event registrations and contributions if they were made online or via the internet. You can click into each activity and see some details on the individual. So this just enables you to look at all your colleagues' activities as well. And again, like Louise mentioned earlier, you can actually delegate activities, maybe if you're off or if you're off sick perhaps. You can also look at all of the events that a particular member or an organization has engaged with. So you can see here that Tony's registered for the gala dinner. There was no fee attached to this one. You can see when they registered, the status of the registration as well, and what role they've been assigned for that. So you can have different roles within different events. And if you wanted to, if someone called up, you could actually manually add an event registration, but of course people can actually sign up online, and this will reconcile within CiviPlus and attach to their contact record as well for you. Similar with contributions as well. So if you are a membership organization that has paid membership, or maybe you do a bit of fundraising as well, you can see all of the different contributions that an individual or an organization's made with your organization. Maybe if it's a one-off or a reoccurring contribution, maybe like a monthly paid membership perhaps. And Hamish will show you a bit more of the membership tab later on as well. Just handing back to Louise. That is all for this video, if I can get off it. For some reason, I cannot. 2 secs.
I think we'd all like to see contributions of £100,000 on a regular basis.
Oh, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. It'd be nice. 2 secs. Let's pull this across.
There we go.
Okay,
so that was our tour of contacts, and we're going to move into mailings now. As we said before, it's really important to have all of your data in one place. And if you're using an external mailing system, then your data is, not all in one place, and therefore is open to more security risks, and also harder to kind of like reconcile everything that is going on. So CiviPlus has an amazing drag and drop email builder built into the system. So everything can be done in the system, and you can actually design some beautiful mailers, which we're going to show you in a minute. And you can create design templates. So once you've set them up, it's really easy to use again and again for newsletters or event invitations or communications, whatever it may be. There's an image library, so you can store all of your photos and logos very easily. And then we've got a really great functionality for segmenting your contacts, which is really important, of course, in personalizing your communications. And actually, these mailing lists have the ability to be dynamically updated. So if you have a segment where you want to contact everyone living in Scotland who's, over a certain age, anytime somebody new is added to your database, if they fit that category, they'll automatically be added to that mailing list. So it really is great to know that you don't need to worry about keeping tracks of lots of different lists and criteria. Of course, there are mailing reports as well, very important. We all want to know, the click-through rates and the open rates. And what's great is not only is all the data in one place, but it's all integrated to the contact record. So if you're going to speak to somebody, you can actually look at their record and see if they've opened the last email. And then at least that gives you a bit of an opener to be like, oh, did you see our last email? Knowing that they had. So it's a good little trick we like to add in. Okay, I'm going to hand back to Jack, who's going to take you through building a mailer.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So just touching on what Louise said on that slide. So within CiviPlus, you have a really powerful inbuilt mailing tool. It takes you through a really clean 3-step process of sending out maybe like a membership update or a quarterly update or a news bulletin perhaps. And I'll just take you through that now. So within the first process step, you would assign it a mailing name. So this is just for reporting purposes. Later on, when you want to run a report on bounce through, unsubscribes, click-through rates, you can actually search the mailing name, and then you can generate a report from that. Also within CiviPlus as well, you are able to store numerous email addresses that the recipient would see when they receive the communication from you. And it's easy to select them and just go between them with this little drop down here. Touching on the mailing segments as well, which was mentioned. So within here, you can actually add or exclude a particular list of individuals that you want to communicate with, maybe people with a particular membership type, gender, age, location, those sort of things. And you have a bit of a flash view of all the people that are going to receive that mailer as well. You can, of course, assign it a subject line, and you can actually add tokens, which are mail merge fields to the subject line as well. Another cool thing that's recently been added to CiviPlus is the A/B testing, which you can't actually see on this video, but if you clicked that little plus here, you could actually do split testing of the subject line just to see which one encourages a better open rate or not. So moving on to kind of step 2. This is where, if you're an organization that has regular update templates that you want to use, you could actually store numerous templates in here. But obviously for the purpose of this, I'll show you one that we made earlier into kind of Blue Peter fashion. I'll just jump into this template. So I don't know if any of you have used MailChimp before. This is a very much kind of MailChimp-esque drag and drop builder, whereby you can actually drag and drop different fields. Of course, all the emails have unsubscribe. They have mail merge tokens as well. So each recipient and each mail piece would be customized to the individual that's receiving it. You can add things like buttons, different images, different pieces of text as well. And you can really customize it to suit your organization as well, just by simply clicking add or dragging and dropping each individual block here. So you can see here that we've added an image. You of course can remove titles, you can remove the button, you could move the image left to right, and there's some really intuitive functionality that you can use here as well. You can of course add images, and you can link images to different websites or maybe forms that you want to send out to individuals as well. You can go into the styling, so you can change your colors, and we can actually work with organizations to understand their color palette and brand guidelines, and we can bring those into CiviPlus to keep all your mailings on brand as well. I will make this one a little bit ugly for you for the moment. You can add your own fonts as well. So if you're an organization that uses Google Fonts, again, if you have a strict brand guideline or marketing palette, we can bring in all the fonts just to keep each individual mailer on brand and keep that familiarity up with your members as well. Like Louise mentioned as well, there's a stock image gallery where you can store your maybe your membership logo or images that you regularly use of people that you want to engage with, and you can just drag and drop them into the mailing as well. And then you can send yourself a test. So you can either preview it in HTML, or you can send yourself a test, or maybe you want to set up a group within Civi and send a few people a test just so you can review it and get sign off before you send it out to all your members as well. And off the back of that, we haven't got this in the video just because time constraints, but you can generate full mailing reports within Civi. So you can look at things like I mentioned earlier, like bounce rates, click through, unsubscribed. You can even go very granular and look at different buttons that are engaged with the most, different images that are engaged with the most as well. And then I'll hand back to Louise just to talk you through this slide.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, events management. So again, the events management functionality is all within Civi. So you can create any size or any type of event. You can have free events, paid events. There's options to add discount codes or early bird bookings. We have online registration and payment capabilities. You can do offline payments as well if you do want to still use that, but we would recommend using the online payment. As I mentioned before, it's with a Stripe integration. Automated emails to participants, which is a really great feature to set up. And you can actually also set up automated emails to different types of people coming to your event. Maybe you have a group of participants, you'll have a different email for people who are speakers, a different email for people who are committee members, or different types of members, whatever they are. We'll track the registered and attended in reports, which is like really important and great for if you've got an event. I'm always want to see how many people have registered, like every hour of the day practically in the run up. You've got the option for member only events, which is obviously key if you're a membership organization, and especially you can have different types of member only events if you have different levels of memberships. And as we said before, all the data is integrated to the contact record. So you can see exactly who is registering for your events and who's attending, before you actually speak to an individual, and therefore you know everything about them, which is great. So I will hand over to Jack now to take you on a tour about how to set up an event, so you can see how simple and easy it is and how much detail you can include so you get every single thing that you want into your event. So back to you, Jack.
Thank you very much. I'm conscious that a lot of people on the demonstration are very experienced with Civi, so I will go through event management quite quickly just so we can get to the exciting stuff of the self-service portal, because that's kind of the main plus with CiviPlus, I'd say. So just starting with actually creating a new event. You can, of course, create templates. And if you wish to, you could actually pre-save those and they'll populate all the fields. But for the purpose of this, we'll create a new one. So you can create event types. You can decide the default roles of an individual that's going to register online. You can give it a title and an event summary. And of course, you can add a start and end date as you feel fit as well. You can do a maximum participants. And if you wish to allow a wait list, you can do as well. And we've got some good functionality that the SSP allows to offer a wait list and some nice automation in the background as well. Just jumping across a little bit more. Event location. So you can, of course, add the location of the event so individuals know where they're going for the event as well. You can add fees. So you can do a free event or a paid event, and within Civi, you can actually activate the payment processor that you wish to use. So within CiviPlus, our standard is Stripe, and it comes already included. You can, of course, do pay later as well, but like Louise mentioned, we don't encourage that because there's a lot more manual intervention that's needed after they sign up as well. And you can add pay later instructions if you wish to as well. Just jumping across a little bit more. So you can add financial types and fee labels, and this is just what you'd see on the reports, what the contribution is made. So when they pay, you'd see it listed as an event fee within the CRM as well. Here is where you can add different fee labels. So you might offer a few ticketing options. You can, of course, add different names for each ticket and different amounts as well. And you can decide which one the default is as well. You can activate early bird discounts if you want to encourage members to sign up for these events a bit quicker. And then you can save that. And this is a really clever bit. So within CiviPlus, you can actually allow for online registration as well. And this just enables you to build up the registration form using a concept called profiles. So you can get really sophisticated with these. You can give people a registration screen and a bit of basic information about the event and how to register. Then when we go down a little bit, you can actually create these forms as well. So you can see here that there's a basic confirmation profile here. You can preview those. So this is the form that members would be filling out. So first name, last name, email address, etc. But you can actually get a bit more sophisticated than that and do things like accessibility or dietary requirements if you were providing food for an event as well. And you can add as many fields and get really custom here as well. But you can, of course, create templates if you're regularly using the same fields for different types of events as well. This is where you'd add the thank you screen, and you can actually set up some really nice automation here as well with the confirmation email. So you can send an email from the system directly to the member's inbox saying thank you for signing up, and you can include some basic information. Also, another cool thing that a lot of people do we work with is they could add like a Zoom link in the confirmation email as well. So if it's an online event, you could actually add the Zoom link and people can add that to their calendars as well. Just jumping across a little bit more for you. So this is where you would add some really nice automated reminder emails as well. So you can actually decide the title of the email and who you want to receive that and actually when they want to receive that. So it could be a week before the event, it could be 20 minutes after the event, maybe if you want to include a survey perhaps. You can get really sophisticated here as well. And you can also use templates again to prevent you having to do all the manual typing as well. So you can store as many templates here as you wish. But again, for the purpose of this, we'll just add a really basic one, add some mail merge fields, and then these will automatically go out to everyone that's registered for the event as well. And then I will jump on to the next slide if you're.
Thank you, Jack.
Louise.
Okay, so we're moving into membership management, which is, I'm sure, what you've all been waiting for. So we're going to just talk through the key features. Right, so within membership management, as I mentioned earlier, maybe your members are individuals or maybe they're organizational members, and we've got a really great functionality for supporting both those different types of memberships. Of course, you can have free or paid membership, depending on what you're offering as an organization, and fixed or rolling periods as well. Obviously, we know lots of different organizations work in different ways. We have the ability to manage multiple membership types with different benefits. You could also offer add-ons as well. So you can really do a really big variety of different things within the memberships offering. Automated renewal emails, which we've touched on before, which, you know, we feel are really important and really a very simple and easy way to get a really big process and a very important process done in a you know, clean and organized way. We have the ability to create invoices within the system and send them out. And then there's also the self-service online sign up and renewal as well. So having an ability for an online form to sign up and register is very important. Jack, we've just lost the screen. Please.
We have, you're right.
Sorry about that. I was talking about the online sign up and renewals. The next button there that will come back is the direct debit option, which we've talked about. We have direct debit, Go cardless integration, and of course, personalizing content by membership type, which we think, you know, is a whole different category in itself. But it's really important to be able to do that, to give your members that personal touch. So now we're just going to do a quick screen change and hand over to Hamish, who's going to share his screen and take us through the membership management area.
Hopefully we should have changed over already. So can everyone see the slides still?
You changed over already? Is that what happened?
Yeah, when Jack got the slides, I thought I would dive in as I had them open already.
Brilliant. Okay, great. I'll stop talking now. Over to you, Hamish.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so just starting off our little walk through the membership functionality. I guess the thing we keep emphasizing is how useful it is to keep all your data in one place. And memberships is exactly the same. So starting here, we'll take a look at one of our contacts. We're back on our Marvel heroes as characters, and we can see that in their contact area, we can see who has a membership, what the status is, and like what kind of information is relevant to their current membership. It's important to also understand that each membership is a type and comes with its own settings and own details. So if we go into the membership types area, we can see what the settings are that you choose for each membership type when you set it up. So they can have different fees, durations, they can be renewable, fixed, rolling. And if we take a look in here, we'll start to go through the actual sort of settings area just to kind of show you what you can configure and change. The memberships area is super flexible. It lets you connect to organizations. You can, like I said, you set the fees and set the way that the finances are processed for that in the background. You can change, as I mentioned, from different like type plans, set your durations, the renew dates, everything you need to basically make the membership system flex to however your organization administers its memberships. So then going back, if we now look at our sort of contact again, hopefully this should make more sense in that when we gave Tony Stark our membership, all that information from his membership tier was added to his record. So now we have that connected to him. And we can see, obviously, given the sort of start and end date, he is a current member. We'll compare this to another contact who's in the system. And if we look in their memberships, we can see that there is a previous membership, but because the end date has passed, the system has already flagged him as having an expired membership and has updated that so that his sort of record, his status has changed in the system. If we were connecting memberships to things like access or to mailing lists, then Civi is able to make any changes needed to reflect that person is now an expired member. It might take them off a mailing list or remove their access to a certain area. The system is really well set up to check on membership status as a way of letting users do different things. There is even a whole set of statuses that you can configure here that essentially tell you what to do when people are in different circumstances. The main one here being having a grace period. So if my membership is 2 years out of date, I'm expired. But if it's only 1 month, it might keep my access open just for a while and give me some grace. We find that lots of our clients, when they're going through membership renewals, it's worth having a little sort of like arrears period or grace period, just to give you time to nudge your members to renew rather than closing off their membership immediately. And again, all of that is configurable. You can choose the different statuses and the rules around them, and as you manage your memberships. So from the, oh, it looks like my screen record has gone a little strange at this point. So from the user side, one of the things we really like about CiviPlus is the amount of user interactivity it gives you. So it's really easy to build these kind of like membership sign up or membership renewal forms that you can send to people, and it gives them a chance to fill in their details, sign up as members, choose membership tiers, and add things like that, information about what their membership. It's a great way to connect it into stuff like mailing lists. So again, these forms are a great way to get details from people and get them to join. And then lastly, you can take payments from within the form. And so in this case, we have this connected to our demo credit card processor, although this is actually not what the version that you'll have looks like, because it will be a Stripe integrated version rather than the demo one here. But essentially the details are the same. You have the ability to put in your payment details and complete your payment there and then in the form. In our demo here, it will actually stop me because I've used details that have been used before. But the important thing is that this payment, this sign up and payment feature can be really smooth and really sort of seamless from the user's point of view. On top of that, built into CiviPlus, and we'll cover this a little bit more shortly, there are lots of other areas of user interactivity. So I'll quickly reference here the fact that there is an update my details form as well that comes built in that lets you do things like update your job title, your phone number, and keep the organization up to date with the most recent details. I'll show you a little bit more about where this form really comes into play in the self-service portal in just a second. But the point is, it becomes really easy to let users go in and interact with the system rather than you managing everything yourself. So now going through to another contact, the last area I want to sort of demo is the finance side. So again, I guess more experienced users of Civi will be familiar with this, but it's important to say that the way that payments and memberships are processed together is integrated really robustly and seamlessly. So whenever you have memberships set up which have things like fees attached, then the way that payments are created and connected to that works really smoothly. Here we can see that we've got a member who we've just processed a renewal for, and then if we go into our contributions area, we can see we've just created a new payment against the name as well to reflect the fact that renewing her membership would have fees associated. Looking into the fees area, we can see that there are a huge amount of sort of financial details recorded against each contribution. These are single contributions, but if the memberships are recurring, they would be in that recurring contributions area. So Jack mentioned rolling monthly member fees and things like that. And we can even go in and examine individual payments, see when they were paid, see what their status is. And if we needed to manually manage things, so like with offline payments, you could create something and label it as pending or overdue and go in and individually manage the payments that are set up for people. Again, for the purpose of the demo here, we're doing sort of a lot, and we won't cover every possible option, but suffice to say that the payments and membership structure has so much configurability that it really can match any kind of structure that you want to use to run your membership and payments area. And the last one I want to add on is just a few little extras, which I've paused on here. So on top of just being able to sort of pay, renew memberships, there's all sorts of functionality to stack on top. So we can add discounts, we can have gift aid processes, we have options for direct debits, and then connected to all of the above is the option to start getting in touch with people. So generating either thank you mails or sending them reminders. And as Louise mentioned, even creating whole PDF invoices, which you can then send or pass on to the contact. And again, we'll show you a little bit more about that invoices section in the next bit of the demo to do with the self-service portal. So I'll actually, again, I've run through that a little bit quickly, but I know that we have a fairly limited sort of time scale to work with. So I'll move straight on and keep talking, keep going through the sort of slides in the demo.
Thank you, Hamish. for that. Whistle-stop tour of membership. There's an awful lot in there. So we're now going to talk you through the membership portal, which we've been talking about as we've been going along. The membership portal is really unique to CiviPlus, and it's a great space where members can basically be in control and update their details, and we'll show you exactly where when we go through the demo. You also have the ability to add announcements and news that are specifically tailored for those types of members within that members area. All the event bookings, payments, and if there's potentially a wait list that you've created for an event can all be accessed also through this portal for your members. They'll be able to download their invoices, which we just mentioned. And there's even a committee space, which you can use if you have different groups or committees that you need to communicate with, send minutes or agendas to. There's a space that you can do that within the portal. And there's also an applications area where people can submit applications, and they can then be linked to the back end of the database, and then you can move them along manually. And there's even an area for application reviewers to log in and review applications and move them along as well, and then it will all be mirrored and reflected in the back end. So there's an awful lot you can do that's front facing to your members that can actually help you with managing lots of different areas. So I think the easiest way to explain all that is to show you. So back to you, Hamish, to take us through the portal.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, this is hopefully the part that'll be newest to most people on the call. I know there's plenty of experienced Civi users, but this is something that is essentially much more closely sort of linked just to CiviPlus. There's something you really only find here. The whole idea behind this, the SSP or the members portal, was to give people an interactive space where they could log in, get a personalized experience, and really use it to better connect to your membership organization. So we can see that right as this person's logged in, they've got a welcome message, and each user essentially has a login and an account and a profile that they can go into, update their details, and manage their own login and profile. And we've even included this kind of gamified profile completeness thing to encourage people to add the most recent details. We find that this way of getting your members to update their details regularly and effectively inform you to keep your data good has been really effective for members organizations, because it really gives them a chance to, one, keep their members engaged, and two, make sure you have really good information. Lastly, as well as the info that you, the members organization, are keeping, there is this public members directory that people can opt into joining, effectively giving them a little profile with a bio that they will then become visible to other people logging into this portal. So as well as you having good information, the members can now get a view of who else is in there with them. And again, there are settings to sort of determine how that works, but it's a great way for members to really sort of see themselves as a community and to interact with each other. On the actual SSP itself, there are lots of things that you can configure to what to show users. So announcements that can be sticky at the top of the page. We have this option to start to flag overdue payments. There is a news area that will sort of bring through the latest articles from the news section, which we'll cover in a second. And then as well, there are things like updates, again, and all this information, so upcoming events, and all this information will flow through from the relevant areas. Lastly, there's a toolbar that you can add on to give you a call to action, a donate button, which we again find is really effective with a lot of our clients to get the, again, members engaged in the right place. So this is the news area, and effectively this is a way to produce content to push out to your users, to your members who are coming into this portal. But in the back end, there is essentially like an article builder that lets you create these news articles, add pictures, add text, and format them. And then once published, they become available to the logged in users in the SSP area. And they can even do stuff like search through old news articles and filter them by date, time, keywords, etc. The events area is the first time that we get to really show off the connection between this SSP and the Civi functionality that we've demoed previously. So when Jack was talking about the events functionality, creating events, we saw that there were things like a gala dinner, tech forum. And these events, once created in Civi, just flow through to this events area in the members portal. And so if you are managing those events processes in Civi, then knowing that these then become available to the members, and they have this way of like seeing what you're managing and creating in a much more sort of, I guess, like user-driven way, is really great. So they can, once they're in this area, they can still see what events you've got coming up, see the information about them, and even have the opportunity to follow through, hit the book button, and join as if they were to filling out the standard events sign-up form. Similarly, we mentioned the invoices area earlier in the process. So if I was a user logged in here and have got outstanding invoices, going to the My Invoices area will show me the payments as they would appear in the contributions area of the system that we saw earlier from the admin point of view. So I can log in, see what I've paid, see what I haven't, and even have the option to pay an outstanding invoice. Again, depending on the use case, this can be for any number of things, but here we can see the final output of an invoice generated by the system for a payment that would have been put in either as part of membership fees like we saw earlier, or maybe to do with something more specific like a one-off payment, a purchase, a donation, that kind of thing. The committees area is a really interesting tool based around what I mentioned earlier of bringing users together. So effectively, users get the chance to join committees and have spaces to either work on specific things, discuss particular subjects, and effectively have a space to communicate with each other. So if there were committee meetings in place, you can see those that link just to this subject matter. You can have documents connected to it, and you can see the other members of the same committee that you're in. You can even enable functionality to essentially let the committee members email each other through CiviPlus, so generating interaction between the users and letting them run and manage their own committees. Similarly, certificates is a way for the users to log in and see if they've been awarded certificates that you can generate in the system. So the most common use case for this is things like training. We have some organizations who will run training courses, and when you've completed one, you'll get a certificate that will appear in this area, and you can log in and download that as proof. Again, all of this is something that you can generate through the system. Or for example, a similar one would be to have a membership certificate that will become accessible once you're a member. Lastly, the members directory that I mentioned before. So this is what it looks like once you've opted into that members directory. We mentioned that you can have a bio, a photo. So I can go in now and start to see the other members, look at what they've put up in their bio. And if I needed to, if they put their contact details in, that'll be a way for members within your organization to get in touch with each other. So this is, again, really popular for more socially driven members organizations. And as I said, it's an opt-in process, so members have to decide to be part of that to be visible. Lastly, Louise mentioned the applications area. So as well as, and this is often heavily connected to the case management process, lots of organizations have processes in place where members of the public or members will need to fill in an application and submit kind of like a form to you, the member organization, to make a decision on. So the most common use case we see is applying for a grant or applying funding. If I was doing that, I could submit an application from this area. I could then track my applications and see the status of it, see whether it's been reviewed or commented on behind the scenes. Or similarly, the SSP gives you the opportunity to make people reviewers in that application process. So if I was, instead of applying for funding, if I was one of the reviewers in the process, I can log in, see the applications come in, and review and interact with them and help move that process along. Again, I've mentioned a couple of sort of common use cases here, but broadly there is, this can be made to fit any workflow. So we've seen it used in a really large number of different contexts. So that is our, again, slightly whistle-stop tour of the SSP. But I hope that this, basically that gave you an idea of just how much we can offer to the members of a member organization and really kind of supercharge your engagement with them. So with that, I will end my share and hand back to Jack and Louise.
Yes, Jack, you could just reshare your screen again and we'll pick up from there. We're going to quickly take you through the last area of the system, which is reporting, which I know everyone is always excited about. Oh, I've turned my video off. Thank you. I'm not sure how I did that. Reporting. There is a lot of reporting capability built in to CiviPlus, which is, really important to see everything that's going on. So it's really easy to use and set up. There are over 100 report templates included already across the system. You may not need to use them all, but they are there for you. Any custom field that you create can be searched and reported on. All you have to do is tick the button to make it searchable when creating it, which is a really great functionality. And there's an advanced search function to build complex queries. So if you've got a really specific kind of report that you want to make that's very unique to your organization, you can build that yourself. And there's a great addition where you can put these reports straight onto your dashboard. So as you open up your Civi, you can see straight away where you are. So we're going to move away from the demo section now. And just have a quick summary of everything we've discussed. So the top 6 power-ups that CiviPlus can give your organization. First of all, a single source of truth in terms of data, everything all under one roof. Nothing's going outside of CiviPlus because it doesn't need to. Automating manual tasks, basically allowing for you to do more within your day-to-day work, and also helping to minimize, mistakes and just speed everything up. Personalize your member experiences so you can tailor communication to them, tailor events to them, tailor memberships for them, everything you can do tailored. Easy finance tracking and reporting, which is, we can go into in more detail in further conversations down the line. Obviously, for time, we can't go through everything today. Empowered and connected members. That membership portal gives your members a sense of ownership, a sense of control, their ability to update their own details, download their own invoices, whatever it may be. They will feel connected to your organization because they've got a place to go and get all the right information for them. And painless renewals, we all want that. Renewals are the #1 most important thing in most organizations, and we want them to get through swiftly and easily, and to try and have as many as possible completed as quickly as possible. So what are the next steps? So I guess most of you are thinking, well, what's the pricing for CiviPlus? I mean, it sounds great. So we have 2 pricing options available. One that is contact-based, which is about the number of contacts that you will have on the system, and there are different tiers for this. It is our most popular model, and it's really good for growing organizations. And just to give you an idea, the starting tier is £50 a month, which includes up to 1,000 contacts and up to 5 users. So just to give you an idea of that flavor of starting point, a user-based pricing tier is really good for small organizations with really big contact lists. So the price will be per user, and that starts at £65 per user per month, and you get unlimited contacts involved there. So all of our pricing packages offer all access to all CiviPlus features, as we mentioned earlier, and you can find the full pricing tiers on our website. And I just want to mention before we go, our CiviPlus partner program. So if you are somebody who is very familiar with implementing CiviPlus, we do have a partner program, which we'd love to talk to you more about. And particularly, you can introduce us to a potential CiviPlus client. You can refer us in terms of you doing all the pre-sale, and then we'll do the implementation. Or you can be a reseller and you can do the whole sales cycle yourself and be a sub-licenser of CiviPlus from us. So if anyone is interested in that, please do let us know. And that's the next slide, because we would love to talk to you. We'd love to do a personalized demo for you. All organizations have different needs, and we'd love to know more about your specific needs and how CiviPlus could help your organization. So please, we will be in touch with everyone tomorrow. We will send a video of this recording. But if you want to get in touch and have a chat sooner, please feel free to reach out, and we will set something up straight away. And the last thing to mention before we leave is that we have our next webinar coming up on October the 13th, which is called Automation Secrets for Managing Your Membership. So we have touched a lot on automations today, making your life easier. So we're going to do a deep dive into that and reveal some of the secrets that we've been using and been sharing with our clients about how to automate things even more. So that's it. That's the end. I think we've kind of just gone a little bit over, so apologies and thank you for sticking with us. We're happy to stick around for another 5 minutes or so if anyone does have any questions. But if you need to go, you know, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to speaking more soon. Are there any questions? Maybe
I think there's a few in the chat we haven't got to.
Oh, okay.
If we work our way back up, there's one here about if the prices include updates to the software and issues, if there are any things that happen as a result of updates.
Yes, absolutely. So that's the idea, is that we're going to host everything for you. We'll take care of all the updates, releases and everything, and you just have a fixed monthly price. I will say there are also setup packages available to get you started with different levels of training and configuration help, which might be interesting for some people. Although if you've got some experienced Civi users here, maybe you won't need it, but it's sometimes nice to have a refresher. But yes, no, the price includes all the updates and all the security things and everything. You don't need to worry about anything. We will look after the system for you. You just have to use it however you like.
Because we know, like with Civi CRM, that's often one of the most complicated things, making sure everything works together. So it's exactly what CiviPlus is here for.
Yeah, it's worth noting that we test every update internally before releasing it to CiviPlus. So while there are updates coming to Civi, nothing reaches your CiviPlus platform until it's been through our like due diligence and sort of release process.
What else do we have? Ralph mentioned direct debit to smart debit. We only utilize Go Cardless and Stripe at the moment, because we just found out that they've got one of the best fees and user interface. And then in terms of link output to Xero, a lot of our the organizations we work with are using Xero, and they do a batch exporting to reconcile their accounts using the batch export tool that's built into Civi and of course CiviPlus. But yeah, we can pick that up, Ralph, if that's something of interest as well. Do these prices include?
So we did that one, and I can see here embedding reports in member portals.
We
don't expand a bit more about what kind of reports you would want to see in the member portal. Maybe that will help us, or we can talk about it separately. You might have gone already, Julie. So yeah.
Julie's still there, I believe. Event registration. So would that be publishing the amount of people that have already registered for a particular event? No, we don't currently offer embedded reports in the portal. Of course, you can run back-end reports for your own use, but yeah, it's not a functionality that we've got, primarily just because it hasn't really been requested, to be honest. But yeah, we do have a big feature list that's coming to the self-service, but I mentioned one earlier about the marketplace. We also have a resources area coming soon as well.
Yes, anytime we get an extra request, we do make a note of it. And so, we're constantly looking at new features and new things to be added to CiviPlus, but as it stands, it's very comprehensive. The idea is it's an out of the box version of Civi, so it's got everything that we think you would need to really get things going and running smoothly and well, and with the ability to do some your own customizations or some help from us in terms of configuring specific automations or whatever it may be. But the idea is that this version of Civi is easy to use and kind of like accessible for all types of organizations. Are there any other questions at all? Thank you for those of you who are still with us. Is there any comments? Or it doesn't have to be a question, it could be a comment.
I think it's a good concept to have that. I think the only thing is that, so when you're describing it, so you basically have the whole of the back end available still to you as if you'd hosted it yourself. And does that allow you to put other add-ins or plugins in yourself, or is that restricted?
I could jump in and answer that if you like.
Yeah.
So effectively, because of the way that it is a standardized sort of platform version of Civi, you are a little bit limited in your ability to essentially add stuff to your own Civi instance. So we have a set of maybe 30 plugins that are already included, but those are ones that we have already tested and added to the platform so that we can roll them out to every client, knowing that it won't affect the sort of like the way the system behaves for anyone. So you have essentially almost all of the admin privileges for configuring the system, for managing and running it as a client, but we do essentially restrict some of the, I guess, the more fundamental like sort of rights around changing the system or adding functionality to it, because that's the way that we make it like usable from our point of view to update all of our client systems and keep them all maintained together. So the advantage of a platform is that it's obviously cheaper and we have this rolling period of updates, but in order to do that, we have to keep it standardized for every client.
Sure. So if there was a request to say, oh, look, this plugin might be useful for everyone, then it's something you consider and, you'd sort of look over as part of your roadmap as well to say, might that work,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Expand the system basically.
We've already done that for a few different sort of areas, and I know that we have one add-in that's currently under review that will hopefully be rolled out soon for exactly that use case where a client asks for it.
Good. Yeah, but the idea is that we'll keep it secure and running smoothly. So we just need to, make sure that that is always going to be the case. So we're very meticulous about what we add in.
Yeah. Was there a particular extension you had in mind, Ralph?
Well, it's only when I was sort of talking about, because I know with the sort of smart debit one, there was another one, for different sort of payment methods. So there were different ones. When I was looking at it, implementing it from, in a fully administered sort of setup, then it's a bit sort of different. But I mean, I can see the benefits of having it limited to certain aspects. The only other question I've got before I have to quickly go is, so the pricing model where you say it's like 50 plus VAT per month, and that's 1,000 contacts and 5 users. If you had 2,000 contacts, would that just be a double of the price, or how do you work out what your pricing model is as you go forward? So
I can actually send you the,
because for an organization that I know, for example, it would be 2,000 members and 5 users would be enough, 5 back-end users would be enough.
Yeah, I'll just put in the chat now the link to the pricing, so you can toggle between the pricing options that we offer. So there's contact-based and user-based as well. So whichever one is more cost-effective for each organization, we just allow them to pick that one basically, so you can take a look.
Okay, I'll have a look at those. Great, I've got to drop off, so I'll but thank you for your help, and I'll leave you all to it.
Cheers.
Thank you for your time, Ralph.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Okay, unless there are any last questions.
There's one question in chat about if we have a list of the plugins we use. I probably can't recite it to you off the top of our heads, but I'm sure if that's something that you wanted to see, we could look into getting that to you.
Yeah, I think I can produce that.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. Okay.
And Vicky, yes, thank you, lovely. Thank you for joining us. Yes, let's speak more. And everyone, thank you for joining us. And wish everyone a good rest of the day wherever they are. Take care.
Thank you very much.
I think Alex, have you got a question, or I can see you?
Sorry, there was one more question.
No. Okay, cool. No, brilliant.
Okay.
It's fun. Okay. All right. Cheers, guys. Take care.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.